Hello, my friends. My name is Henry, and I'm going to be talking to you about Wizard Bullets. It's a tabletop RPG. It's an open beta. You can go to the Discord in the description, and you can download the PDF and read it for yourself. But what we're going to be doing is going over the rules. Now, last time we went through the introduction, rolling dice, levels, and tasks. Today we're going to be going over modifiers and attributes. Okay, so modifiers and attributes. So when a character performs a challenge, they roll 2d10, and then they add a modifier. A modifier is just any sort of number that they get to add to the 2d10 roll. When a character performs a challenge, they add their bonus to that particular challenge. And what a bonus is just all the modifiers that are relevant to that challenge combined. A type of modifier is proficiency, and characters can be proficient in weapons, spells, and tasks. When a player character is proficient in a weapon or a spell, they add their proficiency modifier to the attack roll. If you're proficient in a task, you just add your proficiency modifier to the task bonus. Attributes. There are 7 attributes: Constitution, Strength, Agility, Perception, Intelligence, Willpower, and Personality. Now, each one of these attributes has a score, and all this attribute score does is determine what the modifier is for each attribute. And there's a table down below that kind of tells you what your attribute score is and what your modifier would be for that, but it's super simple. If you have a 5 in an attribute, you have a +0. If you have a 6, you have a +1. Each point above or below 5 is either a plus or minus. Determining attributes. There's a myriad of ways to determine your attributes. You can do standard array, which is kind of the default. This is what your attribute should be. You have some strong ones, you have some low ones. Point buy is you have a certain amount of points and you can distribute them amongst the 7 attributes as you like. There's rolling, so each individual player gets to roll 46, drop the lowest for each attribute, and they do that 7 times. You do that twice so that you have 2 sets of 7. Each player gets to pick one of the 2 sets to use. And then there's my personal favorite, which is bingo array. So you use 46, drop the lowest. Each player, the GM can participate in this too. Each participant rolls 46, drop the lowest until there are 7 sets. So there's 7 sets of 7. And you make a grid. I'm going to change sides so you can see the table. There's the bingo array table down below here, and so it'll look kind of like that. And once you make a table like that, all the players kind of gather around and they draw a line. They either go across or up and down or even diagonal, and they choose an array of 7 stats that they want to use. And so everyone gets the same stats, so everyone's the same power, and you still get to roll dice, which is super fun. Attributes. So one thing to know about attributes is that each player character can be proficient in 2 attributes. Now, being proficient in an attribute means you get certain bonuses. You get proficiency in certain things like defenses or attacks with either weapons or spells, depending on the attribute. And you get lots of different kinds of cool stuff. And being proficient in an attribute helps kind of define your playstyle and how you create your own class. So our first attribute is Constitution. Constitution's all about health, survivability, healing, and all sorts of stuff like that. A character gets to add their Constitution modifier to their body hit points, their armor hit points, and their stamina die bonus, as well as their fortitude defense. We will talk about stamina dice later. It's a super core mechanic. Just know that the more stamina dice you have, the harder you are to kill, but also the more abilities that you can use. If you're proficient in Constitution, you get to increase your stamina dice maximum by 2. You get to add your proficiency modifier to hit points that you get back when you spend a stamina die. You increase your body modification maximum by an amount equal to your proficiency modifier. You get to add your proficiency modifier to your fortitude defense, but you can only add your proficiency modifier to a defense once. And you get to increase your body modification maximum by an amount equal to your proficiency modifier. And then lastly, your overdose maximum. You get to add your proficiency modifier to your overdose maximum. So body modifications are tech amputations and magical tattoos. They give you a bunch of different permanent stats or the ability to cast certain spells or abilities. The number of body modifications a character can have is 1 plus their Constitution modifier. Your overdose maximum, so a character can only consume a number of consumables, i.e. potions, equal to their overdose maximum, and each time a character consumes a potion, they increase their overdose score by 1. And if you go beyond your overdose maximum, you become poisoned, and then if you go twice over your overdose maximum, you die. Every time you finish an encounter or a short rest, you reduce your overdose score by 1, and then if you take a long rest or a rest that's longer than a long rest, it goes back to 0. Strength. So strength is all about being able to wear heavier armor types, doing more melee weapon damage, and being able to carry more. So a character gets to add their strength mod to attacks they deal with finesse weapons, unless agility is higher, any melee weapons, and any heavy weapons. You get to add your strength to your strength task bonus, as well as your armor defense, unless agility is higher, and your fortitude defense. Now, if you're proficient in strength, you become proficient with all weapons. You can increase either your armor defense or your weapon damage bonus equal to half your proficiency mod rounded up. Your weight score is doubled, and you get to add your proficiency mod to your fortitude defense. Even if you're proficient in con and strength, you still only get to add your proficiency modifier to your fortitude defense once. Weight score. All weight score says is that objects have weight, and characters can only carry a number of objects equal to your total weight score. Character's weight score is 5 plus 3 times your strength score. If you're of size large or larger, you get to double your weight score. So if you're proficient in strength, you get to double your weight score as well. Now there's an optional rule to not have carry weight. If you do this, anytime a character would have a feature that would increase their weight score in some way, that character gets a +1 to all strength tasks and damage they deal with heavy weapons. So even if you don't use carry weight, characters who invest in strength are still useful. Strength skills. There's only one strength skill. It's athletics. It's all about grappling, pushing, disarming, lifting heavy objects, climbing, and jumping. So it's very useful for exploration as well as combat. Next is agility. Agility is all about finesse, weapons, ranged weapons, having better initiative and being faster. And so a character gets to add their agility modifier to attacks and damage that they make with finesse weapons, unless strength is higher, and ranged weapons. You get to add your agility modifier to your agility task bonus, as well as your initiative task bonus, unless perception is higher. And then you can add agility to your armor defense, unless strength is higher, and you get to add your agility to your reflex defense. If you are proficient in agility, you gain proficiency in all ranged weapons and finesse weapons, and you get to add your proficiency modifier to your initiative bonus. You increase your speed by 5 feet, or 1 space, and you get to add your proficiency modifier to your reflex defense. And same with con and strength before, you can only add your proficiency modifier to a defense once. Agility skills. There's dexterity and stealth. Dexterity is all about lockpicking, pickpocketing. So if you pickpocket or lockpick something and you get money from that, that counts as experience. You can also use playing cards and dice with dexterity to gamble and get more money. And if you do that, that also counts as experience. Stealth. Stealth is all about remaining hidden, and we'll go over the hidden condition later on. Being a hidden character is very powerful, but in order to take advantage of being hidden, you really need to have a high stealth bonus. Perception. Perception is about intuition, awareness, and mostly attack rolls. A character adds their proficiency modifier to all attacks they make, whether it's a weapon attack or a spell attack. You get to add your perception modifier to your perception task bonus. Unless agility is higher, you get to add it to your initiative task bonus, and you get to add your perception modifier to your reflex defense. If a character is proficient in perception, you get a modifier to all attack rolls, equal to half your proficiency modifier rounded up, and if you take the ready action, you get an additional reaction that round, and you get to add your proficiency modifier to your reflex defense. Perception skills, there's 2 skills. Observation and intuition. Observation is all about observing the world around you, finding hidden objects or characters, learning about monsters and stuff like that. Intuition is kind of like your gut reactions and your instincts. It includes stuff like insight, sense motive, navigation, and survival. Intelligence. So intelligence is all about knowledge and memorization. So a character gets to add their intelligence modifier to the number of tasks that you can be proficient in. So a character can normally have proficiency in 3 things. You can choose those to be tasks, but you can also choose weapons or spells, but you get to add your intelligence modifier to that number. So if you have a +1 in intelligence, you can be proficient in 4 things. You also get to add your intelligence modifier to the number of spells you can have memorized. You can add your intelligence modifier to your intelligence task bonus and your mental defense, as well as your connect maximum. So if a character is proficient in intelligence, they get to add a modifier to any intelligence task that they're proficient in, equal to half their proficiency modifier rounded rounded up. You get to increase the number of spells you can have memorized, equal to your proficiency modifier, and you can add your proficiency modifier to your mental defense. Connect. Connect is a lot like attunement in 5th edition, but instead of attuning to like a magical item, you're connecting to like mechanical objects and gadgets, an item that you have that has a mechanical upgrade to it. So to take advantage of those things, you need to be able to connect to it. And a character can connect to a number of mechanical objects equal to 1 plus their intelligence modifier. Intelligence skills. There's knowledge, nature, and technology. Knowledge is all about recalling information from memory or the ability to solve puzzles and riddles. It's kind of like logic or investigation in a way. Nature's about recalling information about plants, the weather, ancestries, monsters. A character can use alchemist tools and the nature skill to craft potions, bombs, and weapon oils. Technology. Technology is about machines, devices, vehicles, and how to operate them. A character can use engineer's tools and their technology skill to craft firearms, ammunition, tech amputations, mechanical traps, and batteries. Willpower. So willpower is a lot about exerting your power over the metaphysical. It's mostly about spells and magic. The higher your willpower modifier is, the more powerful your spells are. So a character adds their willpower modifier to the attack and damage of spells that they cast. They get to add their willpower modifier to the number of spells they can have memorized, their willpower task bonus, their mental defense, and their attune maximum. If a character is proficient in willpower, they gain proficiency in spells and spellcasting, so that you can add your proficiency modifier to any spell attacks that you make. You get to increase your attune maximum equal to half your proficiency modifier rounded up. You can increase the number of spells you can have memorized equal to your proficiency modifier. So if you're proficient in willpower and intelligence, and you have a really high willpower and intelligence, you can memorize a lot of spells. And then you get to add your proficiency modifier to your mental defense. Attunement is for the ability to use magical enchantments and objects, and it works almost the exact same as Connect. A character can attune to a number of magical objects equal to 1 plus their willpower modifier. Willpower skills. There's concentration and mysticism. Concentration is about resisting the ability to be charmed, frightened, or taunted. And also if a character is concentrating on a spell and they get hit, or they are required to make a concentration task, this is the skill that they would use. Mysticism is about information about spells and enchanted objects and your ability to sense them. You can also use mysticism to disable magical traps. A character can use enchanter's tools and the mysticism task to craft enchantments onto objects, magical tattoos, magical traps, and spell scrolls. And finally, personality. Personality is all about social encounters and talking to NPCs. The only thing a character adds their personality modifier to is their personality task bonus. If a character is proficient in personality, they get an additional modifier to their personality tasks equal to half their proficiency modifier rounded up. And then at level 1, and each time you level up, you get a number of D10 caps. This doesn't count towards experience, but you do get extra money. Personality skills. There's 4 skills: bluff, intimidate, performance, and reason. A lot of these skills will come into play with social encounters. In combat, a character could use bluff or reason to charm someone, and a character could use intimidate to either frighten or taunt a character. So even in combat, personality has its place. Now, because personality is all about social encounters, personality is also one of the best ways to get more money. So you can haggle or get better jobs, better contracts, get more payment, which leads to more money, which leads to more experience. So having a personality-based character is really good. And there's lots of perks that actually are combat-based that utilize personality. So it's very powerful, even though it doesn't look like there's a lot. All right, that's all we're going to cover for today. Next time, we will talk about social encounters and combat encounters. But until then, don't forget to subscribe. Please share, like. Thanks for watching. See ya.